Hello guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to a new video. So this is a very short video guys, just sharing my Moza R9 settings. One of those R9s. Quite a few members of my community have asked if I wouldn't mind sharing my pit house settings and also what the settings I'm using in game. So I hope you find it useful. If you do, leave a message in the comments below, let me know if they work for you. I've tried a lot of settings that are floating about online. I found quite a lot of the settings that I tried, the false feedback was just way too strong and very unrealistic. I feel like the settings that I use, they're a really nice balance, I think, of nice detail, false feedback. Just basically, I know exactly what the car's going to do. If I can feel the spins, I can feel slides, I can catch them. I use two wheels. I use the FSR wheel from Moza, and I use the CSV2, which is a new acquisition. The settings are very similar. There's some minor differences for the Formula wheel, but yeah, like I say, guys, I hope you find it useful, and yeah, let me know in the comments below if you do. Right, let's get into it. Right guys, so the first thing you're going to want to do is head over to Razer Studios forums. I've linked I'll link the exact page that you want. This is the link up here. I'll link this in the description below, and then just scroll down to this message here. This is where you can download the files. Now, as you can see, you've got it's the custom V80 file. This is what I use. I downloaded these two. This one here for 8 to 30 Newton meters, and this one here for 5 to 8 Newton meters. They're the only two files you need for the Moza R9, unless you've got a motion platform or anything like that, butt kickers, etc. Then you would probably want this bottom one here. So download these two files. I've used both of them, and when I was back on V60, the 5 to 8 Newton meter file was my preferred one. But now the false feedback file has been upgraded a couple of revisions. The V80 file I use now is 8 to 30 Newton meters for the Moza R9. So that's the first thing you want to do. Like I say, I'll link the exact page in the description below, so you can just go straight to that and then download these files, and then I'll show you what to do with them. Next stage, guys, just open up your Windows Explorer. Go into before we drag the new custom false feedback file over to Automobilista 2. Just go into your My Documents, Automobilista 2. Now you'll have a FFB custom settings. Now what you want to do there is just right click on that and rename that. So I renamed it to, all I did was add old at the end of it, just so you don't lose your custom false feedback file. Rename that, then go into your downloads, right click, copy or drag it over. Just right click, copy, and then go back into your documents, Automobilista 2, right click and paste. So paste that in there, then it will basically add that custom false feedback file to your Automobilista 2 folder. And that's it. That's all you do on this stage, and that's your custom false feedback file done. Let's move on and head on in game, and I'll show you my settings, and then I'll show you my Moza Pit House settings. Okay, next stage, guys, just fire up your AMS2, go into options, controls, and false feedback. Now these are my settings. Now a lot of people, when I first got this, I transitioned from a T300, and the gain I had to turn right down to about 70% or 70. But at the moment now, as I've got more and more used to the false feedback and the strength of the false feedback coming from a T300, which is quite weak, I think 2.9 Newton meters. The gain is now on 100, but what I do is I turn the false feedback, or I adjust it to taste per vehicle. And I'll show you when we get into the vehicle. So this is basically what I use. No low force boost, 100 gain, FX20, damping 10, menu spring strength 3. These are basically what I use. Now, if we go into the actual car, like typical, if I go for a typical GT3 car, which is the AMG, which I really like, as you can see, beautiful livery there. This was done by a member of my community. Absolutely beautiful livery. The SimPub, youtube.com/@Metzvr, logoed up and all that. It's a really nice livery. So many thanks to Adam for that. Little shout out to Adam. If you want a custom livery, check out the Discord, custom livery discussions. I'm sure he'll make. I'm sure he'll be happy to make you one. If you do use his services, please do buy him a coffee. He puts a lot of time and a lot of effort into these. But I absolutely love this livery. Anyway, enough of that. So we're going to the AMG, and like I say, what I tend to do now, I have the custom force feedback up at 100, and I adjust it in car because I want as much detail as possible. So obviously in the Pit House software, which I'll show you in a second, but the in-game software, I like to have the gain right at 100 and then turn it down or up per car. So if we get into the car now, I've got 2 buttons mapped on my wheel. As you can see, if I go down, that'll take the FFB gain down, or up, and that's on the fly. So that's what I generally go at in the AMG. But I do adjust it per car. You know, sometimes 100 force feedback in game, and you know, 80% FFB game in the vehicle is just too strong. So, it's like Formula cars. I tend to turn them down a little bit. All that downforce. But I absolutely love the road feel in AMS2. I really do. I could never get this level of road feel detail in with my T300. It really is a game changer. I mean, it doesn't necessarily make you faster having a direct drive wheel, but it kind of will make you more consistent and more immersion as well, in my opinion. I can actually feel the car on the road. I can feel the road underneath me. I can feel all the little dips going over the curbs. I can feel them. Lovely, really, really nice feel. But force feedback, guys, is subjective, isn't it? I mean, what's good for me is not necessarily good for you. But these are a good start, these settings, I think. Some settings I've tried, the force feedback has been so strong. Like, ridiculously strong. Like, you know, after a 30-minute race, yeah, I might as well have gone to the gym for 3 hours. You know, shoulders are aching. But, like I say, turn down the force feedback to your, you know, I mean, if I turn it right down to 60%, I can still feel all the road detail, it's just not as strong. You know, and turning, you know, just not as strong. But I can still feel all the road detail. I like it up to around about 75% in this AMG. Lovely. Right, let's get over to the Pit House software. But that's lovely. I love that. Right. Exit. I'll see you over in the Moza Pit House software. Right, guys, this is the Moza Pit House software. These are my settings. Now, I'm not going to go into why the values are the values they are. This is going to have to be down on you. Adjust these to how you want them. This is what I feel is good for me. Over the last sort of 2 or 3 months, I've been sort of fiddling about with, for instance, the wheel speed, the wheel strength, wheel damper, You go into advanced settings, inertia, natural inertia, friction. I'm not going to go into the nitty gritty of that, of why the values are. They're just what I've come up with over the last couple of months and what I feel comfortable with. So what I'll do is I'll export this file and I'll put it in my Discord for anyone that wants to use it. Just download it and I'll show you what to do with that, where you put that. But or you can just copy these settings. If I spend a few sort of 10 or 15 seconds, just pause the video, copy the settings into your Moza Pit House, and yeah, do it that way. Or like I say, download the I'll export the preset and then just download it from the Discord. All the links for the Discord are in the description below. Right guys, basic settings. These are the settings that I use. Obviously, for GT cars, I like a 540-degree rotation. If I'm in a Formula 1 car like the Formula Ultimate Gen 2, I tend to drop this down to 360 rotation. But I've got an actual force feedback file or a Moza Pit House file specifically for my F1 exploits. Put that back down to 540. So these are the settings that I use. Game force feedback intensity 100%. Like I say, I want all the level of detail, all the power from the wheelbase going into the game, and then I adjust it in game, or actually adjust it in car per car, my force feedback. Like I say, I'm not going to go into why these values are the values that they are, but yeah, these are what work for me. Again, maximum output torque limit 100%. I want as much power coming from the wheelbase. Hands-off protection is on. I think that's a must-have, especially with a Formula wheel. Obviously, sometimes when you crash or you go off track, the wheel will start oscillating wildly. So I just literally take my hands off, and after about a second or so, it will, like, from that really, really bad oscillation, it will just stop. Again, like I say, I'm not going to go into the values. These are what work for me. I turn these down slightly on a couple of things like curb effects. I don't want them, when I go over a curb, I don't want it like feeling like it's like a World War II Spitfire gunner, or Lancaster bomber, like I don't want that. I want nice feeling going over the curbs. But I think at the base setting, I think it's just too strong. I'll just turn these down slightly. And the base FFB curve. The only thing I changed here was this second one here. I think this was around about here. I can't remember exactly. But moving it here, this was a tip I got from a member of the community, Andre. Like me, he experienced going along the straights, and if you like took your hands off the wheel, not that you really would when you're racing, but if you took your hands off the wheel would oscillate quite wildly, quite violently. So just moving this from the base FFB curve just down to here, around about here, it kind of negates that. I mean, you still get a little bit of oscillation, but you can, like, literally, if you put one finger on the wheel, it kind of stops the oscillation. And that's pretty much it. I don't know. I haven't changed any of these. But they're my settings, guys. Right, guys. So if you want to download my my AMS2 file, the one that I've exported, and I'll put it on, like I say, I'll put it on my Discord. What you need to do is just obviously download it and then go into my documents again. Go down to Moza Pit House and into preset library, and then paste it into this folder. As you can see, guys, I've got settings for Assetto Corsa when I drive the F1 car, normal Assetto Corsa settings, ACC settings, obviously my AMS2 F1 settings, my normal AMS2 setup, iRacing, and race room. I'm happy to share any of these files with you guys. Just let me know in the comments below if you like them. So that's basically it, guys. That's my Moza Pit House software settings, my AMS2 settings, my in-game settings, etc. That's what I use for the Moza R9. I hope they work for you. I feel confident they're quite a good base for anyone to adjust to their liking. But like I said at the start, guys. False feedback is so subjective. What's good for me is not generally good for you. But yeah, if you find these settings useful, let me know in the comments below. It's always good to interact with the community. And that's it, guys. Hope they're good. I'll see you next time. You take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.